Hi guys, and welcome back to another video Game with Powers. I'm Jake. In today's video we are continuing our top 100 favorite games in our collection series. We have officially made it halfway through the series here. I hope you guys are really enjoying this content. Now, for this process, we went ahead and used Pub Meeple. If you guys are not familiar with Pub Meeple, go ahead and check out the link in description below. Pub Meeple is essentially a ranking engine where you can rank more than just board games. You can rank books, lists, different things like that. But specifically to board games, it can pair with your BGG account and basically put all the games that you own in your collection, put them head to head, and you rank them, and then it spits out a list for you. So that is the process that I used here in all of our videos. But let's go ahead and dive into today's video. We are going to be taking a look at games 50 all the way to number 41. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into the video, actually taking a look at game number 50. All right, guys, so game number 50 here is going to be Redwood. And this is a massive box we have here. Let me kind of actually get this out the game for you. But Redwood is essentially a wildlife photography type game, right? And this is going to be 1 to 4 players, around 45 minutes, and ages 10 plus, okay? And so the overall premise of the game is you are going to have this game board, and then you are going to have a miniature, and you are going to have these templates and things here where you are going to be moving around the board using these camera shot templates, and you are essentially trying to take pictures and collect these panorama cards with these different animals to try and get the best shot, the best camera shot. And so what I love about Redwood is it is a very quick game in a massive package, right? Like, you look at this box that I have here, you can see how big this box really is. There is like 3 or 4 trays down there at the bottom. The board is huge here, but the game does not play very long like you think it was. And I love all of these little templates here, the photography templates, the move templates, and you like just slide them in and connect them into your miniature. And so this is a very like presentation wise, the colors and things like that, this game is phenomenal, and I really do enjoy it. Now, full transparency, me and my wife have only played this game twice. All right, but in those 2 times, I've really enjoyed it, and I want to dive into this game a lot more with some of these expansions here. But this is my 50th favorite game in our collection here, Redwood. Alrighty, taking a look at number 49, we have Bedeville Carnival. Alright, Bedeville Carnival is a essentially worker placement. Well, I don't even say worker placement, but what you are essentially trying to do is you are taking on the role of a dead person, and this carnival has come into the town, and its magic powers have kind of resurrected you. And so what's cool is they do have a bevy of different characters that you can play as, and each of them have their own unique different abilities. And so what you are trying to do is go around to these different locations and collect what is called joy, and then you're going to spend this joy to go ahead and collect souvenirs. But what's so fun about this game is in that process, of course, when you are riding on these rides here, you are going to be making noise. And so you're going to these different attractions and you're making noise on them. And you got to be careful of Mr. Carl, who is the grave digger, because he will send you back to your grave. So you're trying to go around, avoid him. He's got a cat named Fleabag that's going to try and snitch on you, basically. You're trying to get some joy and excitement from riding these things, and then collect souvenirs, which are going to score you victory points at the end of the game. So this is a 2 to 4 player game, 45 minutes, ages 12 plus. Really, I just love the components here of the game. Everything is acrylic standees. You got these little coffins. The markers feel just great in your hand. And I actually do enjoy the mechanics of going around to these different attractions. These attractions have their own special abilities. I love all the different characters and their special abilities, and all of those asymmetric powers and abilities and things like that really make the game shine. But yeah, I just love the theme. I love the mechanics here of how the game feels and how it plays. But this is Bedeville Carnival, my 49th favorite game in our collection here. Alrighty, let's take a look at number 48. We have a Lobster Pot, and Lobster Pot is a funny, unique party game for 4 to 6 players here, 22-50 minutes, ages 8+. And the overall theme of Lobster Pot is all of you guys are lobsters and you are trying to escape this boiling pot of water. And so, there's going to be some dice rolling here. There's going to be some card selection and card play. And, like for example, each of you will have a hand of cards of a color of every single lobster in the game. And so you can either choose yourself, which you would roll a die, and you can either choose to move yourself up or go your dominance up, or you can choose one of your competitors and roll another die to help drop them down lower into the pot. And of course, you'll have the opportunity to play cards where you can move yourself up or drop other people down. But I think where the game really shines here is these conflict cards in these battles. So the theme of the game is lobsters are very territorial and they do not like to share spaces with other lobsters. So at the end of the round, if there are any 2 lobsters in the same space, then you guys will draw a conflict card and have to play a bunch of these mini games. And man, these mini games are so fun. They range from like who can roll like a 3 the fastest or 2 3s the fastest. Blindfold yourself and try and draw like an aquatic animal, and everybody at the table has to guess it or something like that. And the first person to guess your animal wins. But it's just a super funny, crazy game for 4 to 6 players that nobody has probably ever really experienced and played before. But we really enjoy it. When we're in the mood for some chaos, we will play with our friends some Lobster Pot. But just a very unique, good 4 to 6 player party game where it's gonna have a lot of fun and get people kind of interested into the game itself. But this is our 48th favorite game in the collection, Lobster Pot. Alright guys, let's take a look at number 47. We have Concept. So Concept is for ages 10+, 4 to 12+ players, around 40 minutes per, or 40 minutes for a game here. And Concept is a interesting, unique game where you're going to be drawing a card. Your card is going to have a bunch of different words or names or sayings on it, and they have easy, medium, and hard. And then what you're going to do is you are going to they have a game board with a bunch of different iconography on it. And you are going to have these custom markers and cubes where you are going to be placing them out on these different spots or spaces of iconography to try and get everybody at the table to guess your word. So like for example with B, you got an animal, yellow, black, small, and flying. And so those are kind of all the clues you're giving everybody to try and guess B. Now, I first played this game at a friend's house and immediately fell in love with it. We are always in the search for really good party games because every once in a while, whether it's a family gathering or just a bunch of our friends getting together, we do tend to have around 6 to 10 people at these things. And so it's always a fun time to bring out Concept here and just get people thinking and having some fun. Just my luck, nobody can always guess any of the words that I give out, and I'm giving like simple clues. I'm like, why can't you guys guess my word? But it's just a super fun game to just see where people are thinking. But my 47th favorite game in our collection, we have Concept. Alright, number 46, we have Illiterati. Illiterati is a 1 to 5 player game around 30 minutes, ages 7+, And Illiterati is a cooperative survival word game, very similar to Scrabble, Scrabble-esque, right? Where what you're trying to do is you are going to be given a certain amount of letters or tiles that have letters on them and different colors, and then you are going to have a book. And this book is going to give you an objective. So this one says you need to make an 8-letter word or an 8+ letter word that is a food and has at least 3 green tiles in them, okay? And so what you're trying to do is obviously you have a 5-minute time limit. I believe it's either 3 or 5 minutes. I can't remember off the top of my head. But you are trying to scramble, trade these tiles, these word tiles, or these letter tiles back and forth between each other, because if you have an excess amount of letters left over at the end of the round, there's going to be a penalty for that. And of course, what makes the game challenging is you have the Illiterati that is trying to hinder your process. So at the end of the round, you will draw an Illiterati card, and there's going to be some sort of effect that's going to take for that specific round or the next round coming up. But I think this is a great take on Scrabble, right? This is gives Scrabble that board game feel, that cooperative feel to it. Now, this game kind of does stress me out a little bit because I'm not very good with trying to make words together that quickly, but it is just a very fun experience because when time is winding down, you're like, yo, I need this, who's got this? And like, everybody makes their words, but there's always that one person that has like 4 letters left over, and he's like, I don't know what to do with these words, and then everybody is kind of scrambling with 30 seconds left, but just a very fun cooperative take on Scrabble here. This is my 46th favorite game in the collection, Illiterati. Alrighty, moving on to number 45. We have Escape the Dark Sector, the game of deep space adventure. Now, Escape the Dark Sector is probably one of the hardest games I have ever played in my entire life. This is a 45-minute game, 1 to 4 players, ages 14 plus, where essentially you are taking the role of a captain or a person on this ship. You've been locked in and you're trying to make your way through this ship to fight a boss at the end of this deck that you're going to create. You're going to have these story narrative cards that's going to give you these decisions here. And look, the game is very, very challenging, but I do enjoy it. I mean, it is a dice rolling game at the heart, but I do love the cooperative play of the game. I love how easy the game is. It's very quick to set up, right? It has a lot of good tactical combat here, and it does provide a different challenge every time you game. There's a lot of high replayability here. We do own an expansion, and I will be honest with you, me and my friend probably played this 8 times. This is how challenging this game is. We played this game together 8 times, and after 8 times, we could not beat this game. We then went to our local game store around here and saw they had an expansion to it, which added in like a sniper rifle and a flamethrower. And it was not until we bought that expansion and got the sniper rifle and flamethrower that we were actually able to beat the game for our first time. But it took us like 9 times before we beat this game. But it's just a fun, very like Dark Souls, Elden Ring-esque type game where it's very challenging. You are going to take a lot of damage. You are going to be flirting with danger consistently on like 2 to 4 health or 1 to 3 health and trying to manage all that while trying to fight a big bad monster. And of course, you're going to have rolls of the dice, which are going to be used for combat, to make tests and different things like that. So this is Escape the Dark Sector here, my 45th favorite game in the collection. Alrighty, moving on to number 44, we have the classic 7 Wonders Duel. 2-player game, ages 10 plus, 30 minutes per player. Again, when I talked about Sobek, the Bruno Cathala, we do enjoy some of his 2-player duel games, but this is essentially 7 Wonders, the 2-player version. So I do enjoy 7 Wonders a lot, but of course it is designed for 3 plus. So we got the dual version in order to satisfy satisfy that itch for me there. Essentially, Seven Wonders Duel is there are going to be cards that you're going to be drafting into a tableau, and these are going to provide you different resources and things like that. You're going to have the opportunity to build wonders. You're going to have a engagement board, like a battle board, where you can win there. You're going to gain technology, different things like that, but you are ultimately developing your own civilization and your city by drafting these cards. And there's going to be 3 different ages in the game, age 1, 2, and 3, and then at the end of those 3 ages, the player with the most victory points is going to be the winner. But classic game. This is my 44th favorite game in our collection. Alrighty, moving on to number 43, we have Skytear Horde. Now, this does include Skytear Horde monoliths, and essentially Skytear Horde is a lane battler game. Now, this is primarily designed for solo play here, and let me actually get the back. Actually, there's nothing on the back. There's a nice monolith. I have a lot of Skytear content on the channel, but to officially show you guys how to play the game is essentially what you're going to do is you will have these lanes, and then there's monsters coming on the other side. You are trying to defeat what is called this outsider, and so you're going to be playing cards from your hand. But what makes Skytear Horde so unique is there is no standard draw to this game. The only way you can draw cards is by defeating monsters. And so this is a solo, it's a co-op, it's a competitive type game. And so here, like I said, I've delved into the Monolith expansion a little bit, and I think they've made a lot of great changes to that, which I think this for me is why it's a little bit higher on my list at 43 than probably it would be with the original game. But I just feel like co-op, it's not really that great. Now, I have not tried competitive yet, but like I said, I really have not fully dove into a lot of the Monolith's content. I know they added a Colossal expansion, which is something that I really enjoy, but I think the big issue for me with Skytear Horde, or I don't even want to say issue, but I think this would be a lot higher on my list if I just got this to the table more, right? I feel like this is essentially a solo type game at its heart, and for just some reason, you know, with video games and computer games, I just don't really like playing board games solo, or a lot of board games solo, so I would pass on this compared to a lot of other games. For that reason of, I think this is strictly a solo game. But I still love the way the game plays. I love all the options of the different decks and the customization of that and the way all the decks kind of work together. But this is my 43rd favorite game in the collection, Skytear Horde, along with the expansion Skytear Horde Monoliths. All right, moving on to number 42. We have the very first roll and write that entered our collection. Welcome to your perfect home. Or I don't want to say roll and write, flip and write. Let me correct myself on that. But Welcome to is a game that says it's for 1 to 100 players, ages 10 plus and 25 minutes per game. But essentially what you're going to do is there's going to be 3 decks of cards. You're going to flip this over. There's going to be a number and a symbol, and then you are going to write that number on these different housing districts, okay? And so there's 3 different neighborhoods, and then you have a bunch of other stuff down here, but you are trying to create these housing estates, and what's cool is you have to go in sequential order. So like you see in this example here, this 7 is here. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 have to be on this side. You cannot put anything higher than a 7 below this. Now, you don't have to go exactly in order. So you could go 7, 9, 11, 13, 14, 15 if you wanted. But like I said, wherever you're putting these numbers, anything that's higher than that number has to always be to the right. Anything that's lower has to always be to the left. So it gets very strategic as you move and start to fill up this board. Now, we do own quite a bit of expansions to this that they have made. We do have the zombie expansion, we have the winter expansion, and we have the Halloween expansion. And so that is just how much we really enjoy this flip and write game here. Welcome to your perfect home. This is my 42nd favorite game in the collection. All right, guys, last game rounding out the video today, number 41. We have Castles by the Sea. Now, Castles by the Sea is essentially a block building game where you are going to have these sand blocks. You are building them in different formations and structures and putting these meeples and other blocks that you have in different patterns to score victory points. Now, I just love this game a lot because it gives me that nostalgic feel of when I was little, playing with Legos, playing with different building blocks, creating these different structures. I do love how there is a lot of different options with the scoring. So, like, in the base version of the game, you have like guards and you have princesses, right? But then there's other cards where these different meeples turn into different things and they score in a different way. So I really do enjoy the amount of replayability here with the game and all of the different scoring conditions. I do believe each meeple has either 4 or 6 different scoring conditions depending on how you want to play the game. You also have structures as well. So in the base version, you have like doors and towers and archways and things like that. But then these towers and doors become something else and they score a different way as well. And then, of course, very thematically, you have to watch out for these hazards, right? The giant, there's dogs that'll come and basically wreck your entire sandcastle, because that's essentially what you're trying to build. You are trying to build the best sandcastle out of everybody, and you got to be careful from all these people wrecking it. But I just enjoy the wooden sand blocks, all the wooden pieces to the game, the texture of them, the presentation. Like once you start building out these blocks on the board, man, it feels really fun. But this is Castles by the Sea, 1 to 4 player game, 30 to 45 minutes, ages 12 plus, my 41st favorite game in our collection. Alrighty guys, so we have made it to the end of another list, and wow, we are narrowing these games down, and we're getting closer to that top 10. I'm curious to see what some of these top 10 games are. But as always guys, if you own any of these games and these games are rated higher or lower or around the same, please go ahead and drop down in the comments below. I want to know your guys' thoughts on how you feel about some of these games, if you've played them, if you own them, and different things like that. Share your thoughts and opinions with me. As always, if you enjoy this content, smash that like button, hit that notification bell. And as always, guys, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe so we can keep bringing you some more awesome content. All right, guys, y'all have a great one. Bye.